Three, two, one. Welcome back to the Runs podcast. I'm Gareth. That's Nicky. You all right, Nick?
Good, mate. Bit croaky voiced, but yeah, all good, you, mate.
Birthday and anniversary celebrations all in one day, like. So,
all in one day. Big weekend. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed.
yeah, we've
Good
seen a lot of
weather.
each other this weekend. Too much. I'm not used to it, like.
Never too much, mate. Never too much. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Lot on.
Happy days. Have we moved into a new age? What's the categories now? You're still in the same age category?
Same age cat, mate. 45 till I get to 50 now, so I'm getting to the top end of this age category, being 48 now. But yeah, so I'm still in the 45 to 49s. Veteran. Old bastard.
Ooh. Did the times reduce much into the 50s then?
Yeah, I think like for things like London and Boston, I get an extra like 5 or 10 minutes. It would.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm pretty comfortable in my time for them sort of races now.
Yeah. Happy days, yeah. Busy weekend. Before we get into where we were on the weekend, I put it on my Garathon page the other day, my marathon page, my running page, because I'm a fucking runner now.
Yeah, but, back a runner.
Yeah. So, everyone knows, but just to confirm it, I reached out to James Thee when I got into London, because James is the head coach through Cooper, the running and the training app. The official training app of London Marathon. I said, look, James, see if you can have the conversation for me about me using Cooper now in the build-up. I mean, I said, obviously, we'll speak about it every week. I'm making content every week, and I will make some lofty goals when January come round as well. I don't want a free ride. The money that I would pay every month, I will donate to my fundraiser anyway, so the money's going to a good cause as well. I'm just not having free access to the app. And fair play, sorted out for me, like a whiz. He was away on holidays, wasn't he? So we waited a little bit for the code. But yeah, so that's all sorted. So I'm on, coached by Cooper now in the run up to London Marathon. So we'll be looking at what that's been doing for me throughout the kind of different weeks now on the build up as well. But yeah, nice touch from James to like even reach out and have the conversation for me. And yeah, just another bit of structure and another bit of support and nice like. It's like a tap on the back, really, isn't it? Like someone else has got your back on a build-up to London as well now, which is cool.
Yes, fair play, amazing. Like you say, it gives you that structure that you're going to need when you get deep into it now. And for them to, like you say, you put a shout out, and James, he got it sorted through. So now you've got Cooper back now, and you've got no excuses.
Oh, yeah. I like it as well. It's like, I think that's how, not coached, that's how I need to be coached because I'm quite a digital person anyway. Like, and so it's really good. Like, I'm not blowing smoke up their arse, obviously. They're the London partner for a reason, like, innit?
Yeah.
But, like, the aesthetics of it as well. It's a nice app to look at and stuff. It pushes straight through to my watch. It goes bang straight into my watch, and you just press start then, don't you? And it tells you it's hitting paces. Your watch flashes red if you're going too fast or too slow, and stays green if you're on the right track. So, first impressions, good. I've done 2 run sessions on there, and I wouldn't have gone out and run 2 miles in 9:38 without that telling me to do it.
Yeah.
And then I done my session, my long run. My long runs are still short because what it's done for me is between now and January, we're building to a 25-minute 5K.
Yeah. Sensible start there.
Yeah. So the longer runs are not, because without this, I would have started like trying to build up to 9, 10, 12 miles now, like, but I think it's only got me running up like maybe 6 miles is max now for a long run between now and January.
Yeah. Sensible, keep it short, not overloading yourself too soon and making it daunting too soon. That's what's good about that.
Yeah, exactly. So I got a bit of catching up to do this week because it's been a bit busy this week, sorting out content from Tonypandy Track Classic, having a job and everything as well. But so I've got tomorrow, I'm going to do my easy long run. I'm going to do a rod long down Patalbadaria's session after work. He's got a long run, so he said come down and I'll pin the last half hour of my run onto that. So down with him tomorrow. Bit of company for both of us.
Yeah.
And then, sessions start as well. But the sessions have got like different, like obviously Brandon and Anna, but I think I've got the Berlin maybe. I think they're all named after the races.
Right,
Tell
that's
you
good.
what it is now, and you tell me if it makes
Go on,
sense to you, because this is all going to be learning for me as well, isn't it?
Yes. Go on.
This week I've got the Tokyo. So it's
Right.
5 times 3 minutes. 10-minute warm up, 3 minutes at 8:03, minute and a half rest, almost walking by the looks of it, yeah. And then 3 minutes again at 8:03, walk, 3 minutes at 8:03, walk, 3 minutes at 8:03, walk, 3 minutes at 8:03, walk, and then cool down. Is that what's that? Is that what kind of session's that?
It's sort of
Intervals?
it's intervals. It's sort of a decent length interval, 3 minutes time. So there's no like you haven't got the pressure again saying, "Oh, do half mile." It's just do 3 minutes as best you can at that pace. With half time recovery. So that's a good interval.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that.
Good start interval, 5 times 3 minutes. Yeah, that's decent.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's called Tokyo. They obviously just got names for.
Yeah, I think they're all just named after races, isn't they? Maybe.
Well, like I say, I know a few people that do use it, so.
Yeah. Tom uses it, don't we? Tom Mahoney messaged me and said he used it.
Using it. I think Freya's using it. I think Ryan from CDF uses it. There's a few people like follow use it, yeah. So it's obviously decent, isn't it? Like I say, if they're the big one for London.
Yeah. So it's $14.99 a month subscription to use it. So I'm just going to round that up and donate £20 to the fundraiser every month in lieu of paying Cooper. So that would be a nice chunk towards it. Before we get on to Tonypandy Track Classic as well, first of all, before we got on to the racing, we'll explain that now. But Tonypandy Track Classic, they helped me raise 250 quid, pretty much, just about over 250 quid.
Yeah.
Through the community race, and we'll go more into that as well now. So that's the massive, fantastic nudge in the right direction.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Couple of other donations, and I was sitting there and I looking through my emails on Sunday. It must have been, was it? Maybe Sunday or
It was Sunday, yeah.
And I was like, do you know Steve Reese? Because I don't know anyone called Steve Reese. I couldn't find any Steve Reese following us on Instagram or anything. But you said he'd got in touch with you through Strava and asked for the link to the donation.
Yeah.
And he donated £100.
I know. Fair play. You've messaged me. So, yeah, Steve's runs for Neath. Met him at Castles. Had a chat, obviously, about the pod and running and things. And, just follow each other on Strava. Like I said, I didn't. Yeah. That's, fair play to, reach out to me on Strava and ask for the link and then to donate that amount. Fair play. That's mad.
Yeah. I hope it wasn't a typo, Steve, because if it is, it's a problem you've got with Just Giving now and not me.
Yeah.
But, that's a massive contribution from a stranger that I've never met or spoke to. So thank you so much for that. And other bits and bobs are coming through as well. A lot of the messages are coming through now with the donations, and everyone is saying you can break 4. So there's a lot of pressure starting to build up now.
Already, people chucking it on now.
They're like, Jake Smith donated and said you can break 4. Sub 4, loads of people are saying sub 4, so
love it.
Jesus Christ, no pressure, but some pressure. But thank you everyone. We're up over 1,000, which is amazing. Just keep on trucking now, and like I said, I got to get the bleep test sorted, and then see what else we can do. But massive boost, massive start. So thank you everyone that's donated so far.
Yeah, fair play, unreal.
But Tonypandy Track Classic, what an event. It's just, I don't know if we're biased, and I don't care at this point if we are biased, because it's just so good.
It was a brilliant night, afternoon, evening. It was, it was really good with the weather. We had some class racing from the juniors all the way up. Obviously, the community race they allowed us to put on, and what was it, about 20 of us going round in 30 minutes, and fair play to them. They shouted out a week or so before. Every lap, every person completed, they'd add £1 to the charity fee. And we got well over 250. There was some people flying round, in fairness. I thought people would stop at 5k because it was meant to be a 5k originally, and they just put a time limit on it. Because obviously they had to get the other races going. But no, every single person just carried on for the 30 minutes, getting as many laps in as we could. And it was good.
Yeah, I've never been so happy to be lapped in my life.
You said, we got into it, but it was brilliant, yeah.
Class. Big shout out to Bishy as well for pacing me around, because
jumped in last minute.
after a beer and a slice of pizza, and had to
Working on the stall.
put a pair of his own shorts on. They're probably available at discount now because they've been worn once, but he had to take a pair off the stand, I think.
Yeah.
The RDNTS stand. Chucked a pair of ons on as well, because otherwise he was doing it in Adidas Superstars. But yeah, class. Yeah, just a banging event. Like, the community is so good, and it was nice to meet Connell in real life as well, and he's been banging out some incredible content from.
Yeah.
It's mad what the content you can get from just running around tracks and stuff like that. Like, it looked like that could be. It was in Tonypandy, like, but it just could be anywhere. It could be a massive. It is a big event, but it could have just been an official big, huge event, like, which
like a Diamond League or something. I know what you mean. Yeah, his content unreal, isn't it? Superb stuff he does. But yeah, I know we're obviously a bit biased because we got to meet him on the pod and talked about it, and we like this stuff anyway, didn't we? But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was good meeting him and seeing him at work, zipping around that track, inside, outside, almost getting knocked over a few times. Risky business, flying around with our camera, but yeah, and then the stuff he's chucking out already is brilliant. But yeah, the whole day was class. It was bigger again. It was bigger this year. I know some people said they didn't think it was as big, not as many people there, but I felt like it was a bit bigger. But it needs to get bigger because this can rival any event in the UK if they get it right. Keep building. I think like more local clubs need to make a bigger effort maybe and push their runners up there to enter a race and make it part of a club champs or something we spoke about, didn't we?
Yeah, we spoke about that, and I spoke to Thea and Tom Baird about it briefly, and they said they loved the idea as well. Like a Welsh club's 5K track championship as well, where every club submits one runner, or one male and one female runner, or however it may be, to race around the track for 5K for the Welsh title. An official Welsh title, obviously, but the Tonypandy Track Classic Club 5K champions.
5K, yeah. And even the support, like, try and get more, like, that feel of, like, the night of the 10Ks we've spoke about. And I know that's obviously massive, I mean, going years, but that's where I think it can get to.
Yeah.
I know the likes of us and the clubs now got to help push it and build it to be like that. Because it was great when I, like, watching, like, even the juniors in our racing was brilliant.
Yeah.
But then, like, the 1Ks and the 3K and the 5Ks, where it was, like, the proper bit of competitive, fast racing.
Yeah.
Like, the final, the home straight was class when it built in with the many people. Imagine that 10-fold, like, with more people there. And, like, say, the beer lane they need to get, like they do up there, if there's enough people there, and there of the cheering. And yeah, it was just great to watch. But obviously, just keep building now. They can hopefully and then get it bigger.
Yeah, because like I said, if you take the clubs up there as well, it brings the crowd as well. But there's also other. If you're not lucky enough to be your club's representative in our race, for however selection process works or whatever, the graded races are there to be run and raced as well.
Yeah.
So if you don't get it now, you can still run other. There was club vests everywhere. Like, you can still run other races. Scott Gray was racing for Ogmore, run a sub-19, fantastic.
Another sub-19 for him. Johnny Burridge, Gareth Frogmore over there, but yeah, it'd be great to get more of my club up there. But all the clubs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like we spoke. Who was we speaking to? Speaking to Gabi and Ross from Pascal, they were there. But said to them about we need to get push the BCRL teams to get up there, and all the other South Wales and Mid Wales, because obviously I get it's far from the North Wales, even though Connor was down from North.
Yeah, it is.
To get more clubs.
More girls too.
Interested. Yeah, that was. I thought I said to you, then I messaged you after Gabi Booth's post, saying how she loved it, but it was male dominated. There was a lot of male heavy entrants, and why ain't more women entering it? And I know a lot of people we spoke to were worried about it and fearful of racing on the track and for the first time and coming last or running a slow time. But that's what it's for, and it's I've been to races. I went up to the Bristol 5K. I come last, and that wasn't my concern. The concern is the time, You're racing you.
Yeah, you're meant to come last. You're throwing yourself into the unknown.
These sort of races, yeah. But yeah, it would be good to see more of the club runners, especially the females, that are way good enough to be racing, But just don't be afraid of it, innit?
And yeah, you're rubbing shoulders with, like, it was fantastic to see Hannah Irwin back and to witness her, like,
Yeah, that
in
was
the
brilliant
flesh,
watching that.
in full pace. Bloody hell, she's a flying machine, and she leaves it all out there as well in that last 500. Her fit, like,
Yeah,
that's
those
my
last
favorite
two
thing.
laps. She looked so good the first 10 laps, and in the last two laps, it was obviously getting close to what she wanted, sub 15:30. But then the effort she put in those last two laps, unreal to watch.
Yeah. And we finally nailed it down for an episode as well in exchange for photos. But yeah,
good deal.
So the one with Hannah Irwin coming soon, and then obviously the elite race. Ben Claridge, right? What a pacer! Like, he's
Loves
so
it,
good at
mate.
his job. He come around the bend sideways and straight. It's fucking mad.
Yeah, paced a fair bit of the. What did he pace first? The one?
Yeah, I think so.
Paced a bit of. Yes, paced the first 600 of the 1K because his buddy from thing was over, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Did he have? He had the Bermudan record, didn't he? And then
That's
like
not
he
a fair
jumped on.
exchange, is it? Claridge got to go to Bermuda, and then Claridge took him to Tonypandy.
Yeah, I don't know. He had the better end of him, and coming to Tonypandy, stunning up there. And then yeah, he's jumped on the first K with ends on the 5K, pacing Jake and Carda, and yeah, that was class to see them go off the front, wasn't it? But yeah, what a job.
I spoke to Jake because you just don't consider Jake getting beat in Tonypandy, do you? But he did get beat. But Carda knows what he's doing around them distances as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh god, you knew it was going to be close all the way. Yeah. Like they had a good battle, a bit of a ding dong back and forth.
Yeah.
Jake sort of led it for the most, and then yeah, I think was it the last lap he pulled away a bit on the back straight, and Jake just couldn't go with it. There was only seconds in it though, wasn't it? And it was a new meet record, wasn't it? 13:41, which is just
14:41 and 14:43, I think.
13.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't do them. They were sub 14.
Sorry, boys. But yeah, and I spoke to Jake briefly, and I don't know if sometimes he thinks he's messaging you on the podcast because he's technical on it, and I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. But he was saying he needs to go somewhere where he's not leading at all, like, so he has to dig and he has to fight. But that's hard for him because he's Jake Smith as well, like.
Yeah, that's the problem. And then, like I say, these races are not big enough yet, where there is a massive stacked field at that level.
Yeah.
For him to be able to sit there and kick or whatever, but still great racing from him.
Yeah, class. Lovely to see Dav back running up
on
a Monday as well. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, everyone is just got to get bigger, like, but keep the feel it's got as well, because people are buzzing there. Like, you see posts from Instagram, and like I know Sam said that she like rediscovered her love of like the racing and the community again in events like this as well.
Yeah. That's what it is, isn't it? Yeah, there is still our local feel to it, but
yeah,
we want it bigger and better.
What about that boy from Blend 44 that jumped in the community, never run in his life, and
never run in his life?
Gorged it.
Yeah, he was first K. He was like flying round us.
Yeah, I don't think he quite like. If you've never run before, wherever however where that falls, you don't know what 5K running 5K is like. You just send it, like, we literally just
don't know why you do it.
Sent it and just hang on then. But he didn't get much slower.
No, he didn't.
But yeah, class event, really enjoyed, would recommend.
100%. Looking forward to it next year. Like I say, hopefully we can help to get it bigger.
Yeah, and perhaps I'll run in the elite race this time next year.
Yeah, you'll be in the graded race. That's the aim, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I'll race it next year as well. I'll have to, won't I? 2 years now, I haven't.
Exactly, because we would have loved to do. It was such a fast event. But I think maybe one of the races might have run behind or something, because by the time we were thought about getting like mics out and stuff like that, and there were people that are doing that anyway. You know, I had 2 interviews, and somebody that sits and talks all day, I'm the most awkward person ever to interview. I don't keep still, like, so I've got to practice that from the other side of the mic. But by the time we thought about getting anything out, then the other races were starting as well. So
yeah, it was rapid when I ticking them off.
But yeah, so we just thought we'd get plenty of photos, have a good time. The community race was banging, like I said, massive, big check off for Diabetes UK as well.
Love that, didn't it? Was that your favourite bit, having that big check?
No, I guess it's like, when we record these podcasts, I still sit there thinking no one's fucking listening. It's just me and you having a conversation anyway. When people are looking at me and like, if you've never run before, wherever, where that falls, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what 5K running 5K is like. It's fucking mad. you're in an environment like that, I get a bit nervous and a bit anxious around it and stuff like that. But I just don't show it. But yeah, that was like mad. Like
It
to chuck
was.
that much into it, like I said again, wrapping that up. I'm up over 1,100 now, which is mad because the fundraiser must have been maybe 5 weeks, I think.
Yeah. I think it's a
So
hell of a start. Like I say, we haven't really properly done any event yet, have we?
no,
You
like
know,
the
a proper
kindness.
organised thing, like we said, the bleep test or raffle and things
Yeah.
like that. And nothing like that started yet. So yeah, and real support.
Yeah. Let me tell you something about Scott Gray though. He might run fast, but I gave him a profile photo, edited perfect for him. He said, I'll sponsor you. He hasn't sponsored me yet. So everyone
Still
get in
haven't.
Scott's DMs and say, oh, you know, he said he gets paid quarterly, doesn't he? He's full of shit. Like,
Oh, does he
mind
get
you,
quarterly?
he's full of shit. Don't listen to him. But he's probably
Richest man
sulking
in clan.
because all his teams are having a fucking tune in and their Rangers are a pile of shit. So yeah,
Let's not upset him with that now.
you don't listen anyway.
No.
Right, I think that's all we've got. Like, that's pretty much all we've got to recap because it's been a bank holiday weekend. We had our NFL draft on Sunday and we popped out. And it was nice to, like, sit with your friends group as well then and realise that some of them do actually enjoy the podcast as well and they're not just hanging around now 18 months later just to give us the clicks. So that was pretty cool.
Some do, some don't I?
Some do, and that's fine. Because like,
that's
we
what we said, it's fine.
Like, if I went through with a fine tooth comb through our followers, loads of our mates, it's quite running specific, but it's a good laugh as well in it. But I guess you need to have a little bit of an interest in running for the guests and stuff like that as well. What we do need to discuss quickly on the subject of triathlon. One of the boys asked us that if you can outshave a bad diet.
This is brilliant.
So,
are we going into specifics?
We've got a friend that does triathlon. Not at the business end of the racing, right? Fair? He wouldn't mind us saying now, will he?
No, that's fair, but he does slug him out and gives
his all. But he does shave his legs. And the argument was, I just sat there and let him have the argument, I did. But what's the benefit of shaving your legs when you're racing at that point of a race, isn't it?
Yeah, that was sort of always thrown at him, wasn't it?
But I think my understanding is it's not about those extra milliseconds of speed. It's about the milliseconds of energy you're conserving, maybe, rather than the speed side of it.
I'm not sure. I think some of them are just weird and like shaving their legs.
Yeah, but I might shave my legs for London because if they're tan,
have a go, like
they're in fantastic condition. My calves would look much better. My quads would look much better shaved than they do unshaved.
Yeah, random hairs.
But it was a good laugh to see all the boys as well because I don't do it enough these days and have a quick pick our NFL fantasy team, have a good laugh. People joining on Zoom, FaceTime and stuff like that because life gets in the way and stuff. But massive shout out to Mad. I know you listen, Mad, who was sculling pints in soft play, I looked like. I think it was a pub with a soft play built in. But he spent 4 hours on FaceTime.
Downing drinks when he didn't really have to. He could have pretended.
So yeah, more power to Mad and happy days.
Indeed.
Yeah, right. This week, so we're leaning back into triathlon now because we're less than a month away, I think, now from Ironman Wales, aren't we? So we'll have a couple of triathletes coming over.
We are.
A couple of weeks.
They've all been posting their 1 month to go saying this week, haven't they? So it's not long.
Grow up, innit? No, I'm only joking, boys.
You'll be the same when London comes now from the 100 countdown.
I'll probably be injured.
Don't say
that. So, as we usually do, I'm going to have a quick pee. I'm going to send out the link, and then we're going to get Lewis on for a chat about his journey into triathlon. But I think he wants to be a runner as well, but he's struggling to like put the bike and the swimming away because he ran an excellent Manchester Marathon. Not with me, on the same day as me.
On the same day, on the same course.
But a massive shift in London, in Manchester Marathon this year. I feel like last year now, but it's this year, wasn't it?
It was still this year, yeah. It wasn't that long ago.
Right, so I'll be right back. We'll be right back.
We will, yeah. You're not on your own.
Welcome back. The two of us have been joined now by Lewis Bradley. Lewis, thanks for giving us some time. How's it going, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks, boys. Yeah, it's been a pretty busy couple of weeks for me. In the middle of a house renovation and a kitchen build, so my kitchen's an air fryer at the moment and a fridge. But
That's all you need.
yeah,
Yeah, that is all you need.
and a coffee machine, so it's not too bad. But yeah, good.
Oh.
Thanks, boys.
You can Susie Chan could warm her tea up in the air fryer, couldn't she?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't try that.
No.
Oh, Lily Partridge would. No, I'm only joking, Lil. What's happening now? Let's go all the way back to school, and I guess as we always do.
Yep.
So you live where you're from, right?
Yeah, well, I've just moved to Pontardawe, but it's only about 10 minutes from Neath.
Yeah, Neath. Yeah, there we are. So you went to school in Neath for like similar to us, just over the other side of the mountain, really. What about like sports in school and stuff like that, and activity?
Yeah, big time sports. I actually didn't study it at school at comprehensive or college, but yeah, always did cross country at school. Did all the school activities: cricket, rugby, football. My dad coached Brinkhawk Rugby and Football Club for a couple of years, so yeah, anything I could get stuck into. And then mountain bikes came along then. And then that was me and my dad's activity on a Sunday morning, basically. So yeah, any sport. I even tried tap dancing once. I only went one session. I was the only boy there.
That's not a sport. I'm not having that as a sport.
That's like saying darts is a sport, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's not get darts against us. I had an argument Sunday about Luke Littler.
But he's on every podcast, and he's just
raking it in.
Like,
don't blame him.
I don't blame him, not at all. Rake it in, innit? Well, you can't.
Yeah, exactly. But he's not an athlete.
Not like us, no.
No, well, he's more of an athlete than me, but no more than you two.
He couldn't do Manchester.
No.
Oh, fuck, I only just about did. But mountain bikes then. So you got out of all the other sports early because mountain bike, growing up, the mountain bikers are just mountain bikers, isn't it?
Yeah, it was quite funny. Like, I was just doing it with my dad, like I said, on just a Sunday morning, and then a couple of boys from school actually was in Durham, like I said, comprehensive school, like as year 6 is the first year you start, and then I got friends with a group of boys who were doing it a lot younger than me, so I came in at like youth, where those boys were starting at like 13 to like juvenile, so like just got into the sport. Like, I was doing cross country and they were doing something called downhill. And for people who's not really don't know around mountain biking, downhill is a discipline where you get an uplift to the top, either in the back of a lorry or a bus pickup, and then basically you race down one section of trail as fast as you can against the clock. Basically, it was fastest wins, and started that.
I know, crazy bastards, like.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore, I must admit, and I don't think my parents really knew what it was at the time. Like, I had this like cross country bike, like thin tube, like 100 mil travel, where these guys are on pretty much. The only way I can explain it to people who don't know what a downhill bike is, it's like a motocross bike without an engine. So you got these huge suspension forks, coil shock on the back, and it was just, they are built just to thrash down a hill as fast as you can. And I remember, my mum taking me to a couple of like practice days and going, oh, they look a bit different, kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, but they're $6,000 bikes, kind of thing. And turned up to my first race in Riola, which is opposite Spring Valley Lakes, where a lot of people go swimming. So if they look to the mast up the top, that's the start. And I must admit, Riola is probably one of the hardest tracks in the UK. I met my parents going up to watch, and it was my first race run ever, and I think I crashed about 12 times, and I think she was horrified, if I'm honest. I came down, I had a smile on my face, and they supported me through and through. But that's how it started, really. Yeah.
If you need a bus to get somewhere, you need a bus to get back from Alec.
Really?
But that's like you're hooked then, I guess, and that's just mountain biking up until it's not. Well, you still do a bit, don't you? But everything changed a bit of COVID, and we'll get on to that as well. But let's just talk about your mountain biking career and how that worked out for you, I guess, before COVID.
Yes, I started that when I was 14, 15. and I've done multiple disciplines since. So downhill is, like I said, against the clock, one track. Don't touch the brakes, and hopefully you don't hit anything on
Oh
the
my
way down.
God! Like,
Yeah, and
I was going
then
to say, I was surprised we even have brakes.
yeah,
Doing the things.
it's one of those things. And then I did a bit of four cross, and basically four cross is maybe a minute trail. It's a bit like BMX at the Olympics, but instead of having 6 people or 12, they'll have whatever they have on a gate, we have 4, and that's pretty much carnage because you try not to hit each other, but you want to get into that position.
and that's
So
when you're
like,
dragging around the bends and stuff as well with that, is it? That's
yeah, you've
cool.
got rock
That's cool.
gardens. You've got like they call it pro line, where you may have 2 jumps through it, which are like maybe 10 foot with a gap in the middle, which is the
Yeah.
quicker line. And yeah, that's good. And then I also did something which I really liked, and which was my most successful discipline, which was called enduro. And that was basically big days out on a bike, and it's a bit like a rally car stage. So you leave the service area, you'll ride half hour, 40 minutes to stage 1. You race 1.2 miles of sections, which has uphill, downhill. You ride then to the next stage, and then you get timed on stage 2, and then timed on stage 3, and you'll be up for 6 or 7 hours racing. And for me, that was when I really got hooked to the sport, because you weren't just racing the same trail, getting a bit bored. You were discovering mountains and discovering areas which you never thought you'd ride. And then that's not just the UK. That was going into Europe then, and yeah, riding big things and big events then, like the World Enduro Series at the junior levels and things. And yeah, never really made it to the top because I think they were just a different animal. They could. I was always not cautious, but when I felt like I was going quick, I would think of the consequences. Well, I think those guys don't think about the consequences, and that's the big difference of the guys who earn 50, 60K, and I was earning, a couple of £1,000, on the side of going to college and uni. And
Yeah.
it's absolutely bonkers. Like the guy there was a French guy called Adrian Daly. He would put 2-3 minutes on every stage of me, and he's enduro. He was world enduro series champion 2 or 3 years after he went into the elite cats. And yeah, to think I was racing against those boys who are now top of the sport is still pretty cool to think about.
Yeah, definitely. You like motocross and that, Nick, don't you? I don't like motorbikes or bikes really. The noise or the balance you need, but you
Why
like
is that?
a bit of just you fucking fall off, like, innit?
Body
Yeah,
armor.
when you're trying to eat the gel, yeah.
But yeah, you know more than me about that, Nick. You go up to Silverstone now and again to what you used to go up and watch Rossi, didn't you?
MotoGP,
On
I like and all
MotoGP.
that 125s, and
Bike's
it's
a bike,
bit
innit?
different, but yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover. Like my dad used to ride motorbikes, just on the road and stuff. And I never really saw them growing up, but he had we've been to Donington a couple of times, and I never raced motocross, but me and Dad had bikes. I had a YZ85 and he had a 250, and then when I grew up, I went onto that. And we used to do track days, up on a motocross track things. And a lot of those guys, when they realized the sport was really expensive, came over to mountain biking and stuff. And the strength they bring and the sort of craziness again that they bring, and some of the lines that they bring really elevate the sport even further then as well, and yeah, there's a lot of overlap there.
Yeah. And that's when you started YouTubing a bit as well. And before like YouTuber probably wasn't even a word then, was it?
It was early days. Like this was when Instagram was only photos and used to be the old Instagram icon of a Polaroid camera. I remember it. And the only way to
that. Yeah. The only apps you could get on your phone was like a pint that would go down when you went like that.
Yeah. Well, it was, and like if you wanted to create videos back then, it was Windows Movie Maker, unless you spent money on good things. My first ever GoPro was 720, p. I didn't even have 1080 back then, in HD and Wi-Fi, and it wasn't really cool. It was on YouTube back then, and we'll come on to the story around that because it's quite funny. But it was cool. It was Bradley Films, and again, very much like triathlon, it was a way to basically, one, get myself recognized because I needed major sponsorship to travel and fund the lifestyle. And there was just nothing out there, so like I would go to these races, and put, just get permission to put it on my head, the GoPro, and um, do a bit of talking in between each stage, either on the practice day, because normally you weren't allowed it for race day. And I would just make that on a Saturday night, go to Costa or something, or the Airbnb, and I'd put it live. And it was the demand, because like I said, when you're up for 6-7 hours a day and you've got one run down each trail to remember, people want to look back on that. And then next thing I know, I was getting huge views on that kind of stuff. I had a lot of events, companies sort of, do you want to come and do our event? We'll give you, as long as you do the video, we'll give you an entry. And then sponsors came with that as well, and that all plays a massive part. But I'm not saying this just because I think because I don't want to blow smoke up my ass, because I hate doing that. But I was probably one of the first to do it within the UK. There was probably 2-3 of us who were doing it quite well. And now, if you look on YouTube now, every single like mountain biker is doing it, because people want to see that. So it was a good thing to do, and I'm glad I did it. I was confident. It made me the person I am today in terms of confidence. And it was. I still watch them now and again, like when they pop up in memories and go, wow, that was 12 years ago, and I was in Europe with a camera going down some gnarly stuff,
Yeah, definitely. But we've had like a couple of YouTubers on as well, and they say the same, is like the medal for your race doesn't really mean anything now, because you've got that video to watch back. And I guess the video means more than a medal, because when you're watching it, you'll remember that bend, or you remember that person that was on the video, or remember that moment in time a bit as well. But more bike content. Although I said, obviously, I don't like bikes, I don't like motorbikes, bike content is banging, especially now with drones and what Red Bull and all stuff are doing as well. Bike content is top notch, like, when it's done right and stuff like that. And it's obviously lent into like the future for you. Couldn't have known at that point that YouTube was going to blow up like it was, and content was going to blow up like it was. So it's almost a free education in that side of everything for you as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different things, and coming back to how, you had to give it time. If you want to make an Instagram reel now, the software is within Instagram. You don't have to download all these tools. When back then, I had to buy a laptop. I had to get Final Cut Pro. I had to buy a DLSR. I had to buy GoPro. It was a lot of expense before you even started. Now you can do it mostly on a phone. And like you said, education came from that way, the way that you speak, the way you present yourself. And I was having people come up to me, and I still do in triathlon, and still in the sport of mountain biking, coming up and going, "Oh, I watched your video on Kumkan, or I watched it at this race I'm going to do. Thanks for the tips." And I'd be like, "I don't know who you are, but thanks. I'm
mad,
really
isn't it?
glad you found it really insightful." Because, and coming back to like you said about the medal, a medal's a medal, and they look good for a bit, and then you go, "Oh, I look like a bit of an arse putting up these around my house." And my fiance is a bit like, you got your medals everywhere. It's funny, but for me, it's the medal is given back through content, and mostly YouTube, because I have a lot of people like come up to me and go, "You're the fault that I've signed up for an Ironman," kind of thing. At the end of the day, it's like, great, I've influenced to take on a challenge which you may not have thought of before. And yeah, it's quite funny.
No, it is, man, because I've had people come up to me and go, "I started running because you," and I'm like, "What? Me?
Yeah.
I run a 6:11 marathon." But I guess at that point, when you're seeing someone run a 6:11 marathon, that's much more attainable than Nicky's sub-3s as well, isn't it? So you don't realize, like, you put in the content out because you enjoy making it and stuff like that, but you don't realize, like, butterfly effect is not the right terminology, is it? But like the way it works that way is like you don't know who it's impacting either when you're putting it out there.
Yeah, and Nick will probably find the same with his kind of stuff. Is like, I'm influencing age groupers. I'm influenced, and you can watch pro videos and they go, "Oh, I've held 400 watts for an hour and a half, or 200 watts." shots, and it's just like a normal age grouper won't understand that. What the normal age
No.
grouper wants to find out is, what's the route like? Is it for a beginner? If I'm going to do Ironman Swansea, what's the procedure? Because actually going from a normal triathlon to an Ironman, the whole transition with the bags and stuff is different. So even explaining that for someone and then watching that back 2 or 3 times, it's going to give them much more sort of confidence going into an event than just a pro absolutely smashing it, going,
definitely.
and that's a different content area than what I'm trying to give. And that, like you said, it all works out. And for like Nick with like London Marathon stuff and like the Puma stuff as well, that's a different audience again. And yeah, it's really good. And that's the power now of all of having these, you know, content streams, is there's loads of opportunity and variation out there as well.
Yeah.
It's more comparable for people, and like you say, it's more like people around our sort of levels, and you're giving them, like I say, good insight into things. And there's probably more people, a broader spectrum of people in that group, isn't it? Like I say, a pro is great. I love watching pros videos, Jakob and I running, but I'm never going to get it. It's just great to see. But then more comparable to me is the likes of Kofuzi, Ben Parks, you know, they're my sort of level. So seeing them and them giving their tips on races and marathons, it's the same with the Ironman, and it's like, and for the Ironman even more so, because there's so much they've got to go into that, and like we say, with the bags and procedures and everything, and the fucking line we've got to get off and all that rubbish. It's not rubbish, you know what I mean? But it's just so much to think about. Like, you know, like the boys, innit? Like some of them done the E3 boys got down Swansea, innit? That was their first Ironman event, and them saying like it was just a totally different level to Mumble's try, you know, or something like that. So it's massive, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to say, it was when we were in that conversation, back in my mind, I wanted to say like the YouTube is saturated. No, but it's not saturated, because you can pick whatever you want to watch. It's only saturated if you're watching shit, like, innit? And then, so it's your job to find the content that's relatable to you and use that and absorb it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, like, if we move the YouTube then onto triathlon, like, and you know, I never did a triathlon before COVID because I was racing mountain bikes, and that was the opportunity to switch.
So before we go into COVID, shut down the forest, so you switched over to running, swimming, and biking instead.
You sort of had to be honest. Like,
it was nothing
you
else
weren't allowed in the forest. Yeah, like you weren't allowed to do anything, like not even walk or anything. And then if you did, you know, there was police everywhere, you know, and yes, we did it now and again, but we had secret trails that no one knew about. You know, we didn't have to go. You know, we barely rode official mountain bike trails across the whole of South Wales, but that's a different topic. But like I made the move then. Like I think it was Ironman released more spaces for 22, so at the back end of COVID, and I spoke to my sponsors, which at the time was Rally UK and Lapierre. And Rally UK, one of the bigger distributors in the UK, they own hundreds of brands, kind of thing, over under one roof, and it was perfect for them because they couldn't sell mountain bikes, and they could sell loads of road bikes because people were going on road bikes. So we made the switch, and that's when I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go, take off the bucket list of Ironman Wales. And it was mostly just I wanted to tick off the bucket list, and obviously then with the social presence and the YouTube stuff, it kicked off massively then.
So did you just go like, and I think you went in then as a complete novice and given the novice YouTube journey as well then, or did you cut your teeth a little bit and then go back to YouTube, or do you just jump in and say, I'm Lewis, I'm a novice, and let's fucking see what happens?
I think it was my fiance who basically said, she said, I think we're going to Llanelli try. It was my first ever try, and I remember sort of saying to her, like, I can't find anything of this race online. You know, it's sold out. I managed to get a space, and she just said, well, why don't you vlog it a bit like what you did for YouTube? And I'm there, and I'll do the camera stuff, and I must give credit to her. She's the one behind the camera every race. Don't get me wrong. It's I edit, but she's the one who stands there waiting for me with an umbrella or something, like, you know. But or sometimes a beer in a hand, which is probably more convenient. But yeah, we just thought, why not? So I turned up to Llanelli Triathlon, down North Dock, and obviously I recce'd the route beforehand, which I always do mostly if I can, because I want to go as quick as I can. But um, I think everyone just looked at me stupid. Like,
Yeah.
what's this guy doing with a camera in transition? And what's this kind of like speaking to the camera and all this kind of jazz? And yeah, it probably sparked a lot of confusion. But then, like, I put it on YouTube. It was the only video up for Llanelli Triathlon, except for one or two dot mobs, which were like 10-second clips of someone's like pixelated phone, like from
Yeah.
about 2 years ago. Um, and it blew up. I put it up that Sunday night, trying to get people's ambition in. I had the organizers thanking me, like saying this is fantastic. No one's ever done this before. If you want to come back, we're more than happy to accommodate. And every single year now, it does a lot of views because people want to use that
Yeah.
as a tool to find out. Because if you're gonna do your first ever triathlon, the two places you're gonna look at is YouTube and then asking your club. So like
Yeah.
it was perfect sensory, and that's really kicked it off. And I've done
Yeah.
it for nearly every single triathlon event now I've done. And like I said, credit to my fiance and then some other people who like video me. But it's just done well that way, and that's not me being forceful or me going, you have to stand here, or we have to go video it. It's just because we like it, and that's the way that we engage with the community in terms of content. I don't have time to do the Instagram reels. If I'm going to go ride my bike after work at 6 o'clock, I don't have time to put a minute reel together.
Yeah.
But what I'll do is I'll do quality over quantity. So I'll make a YouTube video, but I'll do it at events which are going to make a difference to people.
And I think, because like the era we're in now, a lot of content is person first in it, and they just happen to be and it's such a massive blow up now that we've got people flying over to Sydney this week now that are racing for free, right? Full trip. And their content's really good, but the content's about them at Sydney, whereas your content is more about this is the route, like this is what you're going to experience, and you're just kind of the host of that. Would that be fair?
Yeah, like I'm more of a content creator than an influencer.
Yeah, definitely.
And I like to influence people to join the sport, but not to buy something. But yeah, I do the event to do well, and that's why I've had the opportunities to represent Age Group GB and have those opportunities to go to World Series when I was a mountain biker. But the content, I was creating throughout the last 15, 16 years is all to influence others and to support their journey. And it sounds cliche and a little bit funny, but it is true. And I think that is what I enjoy. It's pushing other people on.
Definitely. So let's forget about the content for now, and what about that jump from mountain biking to triathlon? Why did you want to do that? Were you obviously done cross country in school, but what about swimming? That must have been like a whole new kettle of fish.
Yeah, swimming was so. Why did I do it first? So I did it because of the bucket list thing of Ironman Wales, and before I even entered, I never looked at Ironman Wales. I never went down there like as a kid to watch it. I was just like, oh, I've heard about this. It looks good. You know what? I'll give myself 12 months. I actually gave myself about 10 months because I gave 2 months of just prancing around on bikes. But yeah, it's just like, I thought, oh, okay, let's give it a go. I've got nothing to lose. I can just enjoy the process again. Mountain biking, like I said, was not going anywhere. Races were getting cancelled. There was no pathway out, basically, and the industry was in a bit of a difficult situation. So yeah, made that jump, and like you said, cycling was a pretty easy switch.
It's a much different cycle, isn't it?
It is in terms of normalized power, or just riding a bike from ends on ends, for 60 miles, and not going, like I said, zone 2 slow right into a stage and hammering it for 3 minutes and then slow it down. But it's all about speed and how you look after yourself on a bike over 60, 70 miles, and that's what I was doing in Europe. Slightly different, but the transferable skills were there, confidence on a bike. I can ride in the wind in TT position with a disc wheel. I can go around a roundabout without sitting up. But, I can stay in the bars and thing. I can go around corners with my foot with my knee dropped and look like I'm on a MotoGP bike.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
because you've been flying down those trails. There's going to be nothing there on the road.
Exactly, and if you can skim through trees, you can ride 20 meters on a road. I'll probably go crash next week now and say I came off, but
fucking awful, not like.
No, I know. We did curse a few people early on with injury.
But Kyle said he was a biker as well, when Kyle was done all that as well, and a very similar story to him, that it's not fearless on the bike, is it? But it's knowing your limits on the bike, and your limits are a bit higher than someone who's only learned to ride a bike on the road.
And it's the whole feeling of like, it's like, I try and compare it to people driving a car. That's the most obvious thing. You look in ahead, corners are like, you don't brake throughout the corner. You slow in, fast out. You want to hit the apexes.
Yeah.
You want to be carrying as much speed as you can. There's and I say this to a lot of people, right? Because they want to get quicker on a bike, and they put 6 hours into, on a turbo, trying to get their FTP up. But when it comes to a race, they're either not confident in the wind, so don't stay in the TT bars because they don't do enough wind training, or what you want to call it. Or two, they don't know how to take turns.
Because
Yes, because they're used to sitting on a turbo. So all that time they built up getting that 5 to 10 extra watts, they've lost by all those turns and all those sitting up. So like I always tell people, if they want to get better on a bike, go to Tesco's or Lidl's on a Sunday afternoon when it's closed, and just practice turns around the car park and just get that feeling of leaning the bike over.
Yeah.
The more you lean the bike over, the quicker you're going to be. And it's the one thing that makes you quicker on a bike overall is how confident you are. And if you can be confident on the bike, that'll save you an extra 5-10 minutes easily on a technical course, even more on a quicker course.
Yeah.
So I think it's that kind of transferable.
I love
skill.
that. That's a really good point. I'd never thought of, and that's why we have guests on.
Yeah, yes, you've got to put the hours on the turbo trainer in the winter. I don't ride the road in the winter. I go off road, but you got to make sure that you can give yourselves every possibility of finding that speed and free speed. Because it is, if you can go around a corner 2 or 3 miles per hour quicker minimum without touching the brakes, you're going to come out of that corner a lot quicker. There's Swansea 70.3 is a perfect example. You climb out of Mumbles, and you got that really dip. It's not in the Caswell. I think it's Rollerslade. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a good 15% the other side. But if you can go down the hill, and I think I've still got the KOM in it, it's like 58 miles per hour, and what's coming the other end, and you can be confident to hit that turn and come up the other end.
You're gone.
I must have passed around 30, 40 people just because I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
But I knew when to hit the brake before the turn, lean the bike in, and just let the bike do the work. And I think it's a skill that many people don't have, but really could have if they just practiced it.
I'm gonna get a fucking bike now.
See, I got him.
Yes.
But so you do your first couple of triathlons, and obviously Wales. But why haven't you gone back? You do still dabble on a mountain bike, I know, but why have you stuck to triathlon and this side of the road? I guess because running is a big plan for you as well, isn't it?
I think running is just something that's come on really well over the last 3 years. And like coming back to just quickly swimming, like I had grommets as a kid, so I missed years of swimming that I just couldn't do. So like swimming was terrifying. Don't get me wrong. Putting my head under the water for the first time was pretty horrific. I think I hated it, to be honest. But and it's been difficult because Pontardawe pool was shut, and now I got to go back to Neath. I go with the flatliners a lot, which is quite confidence building. But it's just a struggle for me swimming. I always get ear infections year on year. So there you are. But that's hard. But running has just come along well. I think it's just one of those things which I've sacrificed a bit of bike for, but actually really enjoyed the running. And I think that's just because how busy I've been in work. I I work down in Singleton Hospital a lot, so I just love getting out onto that front. It's a way for me just to switch off,
Yeah.
and just run to my own ability. And, I don't even care around. I don't have to do 4:30 splits. If I wanna run 6-minute Ks, 8-minute Ks after work, I'll just do it because it's just nice, and running with my dog as well, because he's a Vizsla, he's a proper running dog, and even all of that has just helped. It's kind of funny, but like my dog as well, because he's on a lead strapped to me, he's helped me with my stride,
Yeah.
which is really funny, like talking about it. But like what doing Manchester Marathon stuff and times wide, my stride has gone from a super high cadence to quite lengthy now, and just running at different speeds. But yeah, coming back to why I haven't gone back to mountain biking yet, and the bike industry is still in a bit of a difficult position.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, and if you're not within the industry, I don't think you'd really know. But there's a lot of, like, the COVID bubble has burst, and there's a lot of back orders, and there's a lot of bike companies and distributors going out of bust, and wiggle chain reaction, entering administration. It's a real difficult time at the moment. Mountain bike events haven't really
Come back.
come back fully. There's always the ones which will do really well because they have that good sort of branding, and they've been around for a couple of years. But if you want to make a difference now, you gotta go back to national level now, which
Yeah.
it's strong now. It's probably stronger than what it's been because people have had 4 years of virtual schooling and stuff, which means they can get straight after school kind of thing, and that's helped in a way for the industry. But two, it would take me a long, long time to get back to that level I was, and I don't think I would, and I don't think I'd like to get back to that level. But I think when the house is sort of finished and the reno's done, I can bring my bikes back over to my house. At the moment they're all locked up pretty well in my parents' house, and if I need them, I got to go back to my parents.
Yeah.
But I think I will. I think 26 now I will probably get back into it a little bit more. Maybe do 1 or 2 events just to see people again and to keep in the industry. But it was that point, and then probably sponsorship agreements. Lapierre, we changed the contract, and it wasn't particularly triathlon or related, and mine had never been events, or like performance related contracts. But they were selling road bikes, and mountain biking, like I said, came to a stop. There was bikes on back order. The 2025 bikes weren't arriving because I can't remember the ship that got stuck, but that even
I remember. Yeah.
huge, so, and air freight was a huge cost, and they were just like, we got the only thing we got sitting in our warehouse is £500 bikes and £6,000 road bikes, nothing else.
Yeah.
So and then obviously when I went over to Ribble, they were all about creating content around triathlon and road and trying to do that stuff as well. So I just stick with triathlon for a bit, and luckily it's worked out quite well. Had some really fantastic opportunities. But yeah, I think I'll dip my toe back into it probably next year for sure.
The triathlon wave has been like, it's not going anywhere, is it? It's like it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger as well. And it's nice to hear like you coming over, and for the content side of it as well, but because a lot of them are coming from the team sports we've spoke about a million times, that team sport and the commitment around, it's a massive commitment, triathlon training is, but it's on your terms, isn't it? If you can't make Tuesday, you can't make Thursday, you can't make Saturday, then you make it work around yourself anyway. But so how many times you've done Wales? What other ones have you done?
So the only full I've done is Wales.
Yeah.
Just purely because I haven't really had time to commit myself since Wales to a full again. But my dad's really keen to do a full, probably not next year, but the year after. He's got the triathlon bag as well.
Yeah.
He's not the guy who goes on TikTok. He's a builder. So I think that was more my influence, and him wanting to do something which his son does, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, definitely.
It means I can do a lot more with him on like a weekend. Go ride bikes with him, a bit like back in the day, which is I absolutely love, which is great. But I've done Portugal 70.3, Mallorca 70.3. I've done age group for Vichy and that was, I did 2 age group races back to back. So Saturday, Sunday, did the sprint on the Saturday, not middle distance, Olympic distance on the Sunday. Done a lot of British races, I would say. But yeah, I don't really like. I know I got the bloody Ironman tattoo on the back of my leg and thing, but like, I'm not that guy who just like target Ironmans. I'd rather like I did Donny Lake last year purely because it looked like a really good event. It wasn't just because I wanted to like, no, I think I could win it. It was just like it looks like a good event. I want to see how it feels, and if it's a good race, I'll take my camera along like I did, and I'll tell people about it. Like I think that's my kind of vibe towards the racing.
And like I said, because you're in it half for the content side of it as well as part of your job and part of the contract as well. There's plenty of it. Ironman are fucking brilliant at it. So there's going to be gaps on in YouTube and on the internet for content for all these other races as well, which must be something you probably consider when you're picking your races as well.
Yeah, there is that. Like Mallorca, like last year, I think there was a much bigger content creator out there who was like a much more bigger views than me. But actually, I was the only British person to do a video of that race. So obviously, the content then, if you're a British person, you're on the VPN for the UK, you're probably going to get my video over there. And the amount of people, and I'm not kidding you here, and this is nothing really like thing. The amount of people who I had either comment on the YouTube video or message me going, "I've signed up to Mallorca, love the video," is like overwhelming. Like even Swansea, like is massive, and I missed the last 2 years because I haven't been able to do it. But people remember you, which is really funny. I've got rid of the Gold Lap bike now. Zach is on it, but people still remember going, were you the guy with the gold bike? Like that was the craze for a while. That's what people, if they saw me even people on the bike course was doing the race going, "Are you that guy?" I'm like, yes. At the end, you carry on, son. Yeah,
Stop talking with racing.
Yeah, it is good. And coming back to what you're saying around the target market for Ironman now, I've been speaking to Kath Roberts from Welsh Triathlon around how do we make it more competitive and keep people within the Super Series, because obviously you guys did Porthcawl.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I think the Super Series has gone back to Porthcawl for a couple of years. But like, how do we make those people return, and how do we make age groups better? So I've been talking to her around some of the opportunities I feel I can bring from mountain biking, and which they're taking quite seriously, which is really good to hear.
Yeah.
I probably can't say more than that, but the keeping people on board is really important. Most people come from a running background into triathlon, then cycling, then swimming, and there's a lot of data to back that up. But actually, like, there's gonna, like you said, the triathlon bubble isn't going anywhere. But how do we mitigate that? And I think that's going to be the next bit for triathlon as a whole.
I think it's just
try to get right.
It's the same as running, though, because it's getting saturated is again the wrong word again, but these events are selling out faster and faster and faster. Yeah. We need more and more events, but these are marketed so well. Ironman, Run for Wales, they've got monopolies on both of these more or less, and nobody knows about these smaller races that are happening, the smaller triathlons that are happening as well.
And I think on top of that, the Super Series, and I've said this to this Kath, CEO of Welsh Triathlon, like I said, is the Super Series shouldn't be a feeder for Ironman.
No.
Like, that series should be the best in Wales, should be racing the best in Wales.
Thing,
and it shouldn't just be you should do Llanelli because it's a great way to get to 70.3. It should be you doing that, and that's the sprint race. And if you do all these races, you have that, you're top in Wales or fifth in Wales Super Series. And that's what I want. And if we're really careful, you're very much a bit like what happened to mountain bike racing. You've got that real big national series and things, but then the lower levels are really struggling to sell out because people just want that top level racing.
Yeah.
But actually, all of these smaller level ones are the ones that feed into everything else. And if we lose that, or they lose the purpose, you're going to start losing people, because the only people Ironman will end
Definitely.
is the same people going back to their
Come
event.
back,
It
yeah.
only happens. It's probably the same as running. You've got to reinvent yourself to make it worthwhile to people, or to influence them. And I think you'll start to see the ones now cracking after the COVID boom kind of thing, and I really hope that it doesn't go that way. But I think we'll start to see events, if they don't revolutionize
They'll
themselves
go.
or as
Yeah.
a character, they're going to start, they're not going to be selling out races. They may be, 60, 70% capacity. And that's not what we want. And like I said, coming back to the content around Llanelli, Cardiff Try, Swansea Try, it's just there to get people encouraged to do them. But I am conscious that everything that we're doing in sport for triathlon is just feeding the bigger guys like Ironman. And people
Yeah.
don't realize how big Ironman are. Like, they don't just own Ironman, they own
No.
Cape Epic, UTMB,
Yeah, it's mad now. They got
they own
UTMB,
all.
innit?
But
Yeah,
like I
so-
said, it's the same. Run for Wales is the same now, and it's just
Yeah,
buying up races, and they will lose their authenticity as well, because they're being owned by Run for Wales now as well. But
yeah.
we do our best, like, to push these other races. We're working hard behind the scenes to create a website and just make content, because that's where you're going to fall down, because all you've got is a sea, a road, bike,
Yeah.
and trainers. Ironman is Ironman because their marketing is fucking massive and they've been able to grow. Their content is brilliant. They've been able to grow. But these smaller races haven't got the budgets for that, haven't got the capabilities for it, haven't got the teams around it to be able to build like that as well. It's still the same kind of race.
And I think on top of that as well, they have something which the little races don't have, and that's data analysis. Like, they employ someone to look at data analysis, so they can go back to Swansea Council or Carmarthenshire Council and all these, Pembrokeshire Council for Wales, sorry, and go from our data and all of these people on the survey we did. This, I said they came down to practice 5 times and spent 60 quid.
Yeah, exactly.
By that, we've created for you £30 million worth of revenue within your area.
Yeah, because
it's huge, and I think that's the difference.
that was the question.
It is,
I had that
yeah.
questionnaire after Porthcawl off Run for Wales as well. They are doing exactly the same now. They're trying to grow into that, and they will grow into that, because I've said a million times on here now, I could talk 100 people out to doing Cardiff half. It doesn't matter to Run for Wales, because another 100 people will do it.
Yep.
So we're fucked, because that's going to keep going like that. But we've got a responsibility then to push these races, like the Tonypandy Track Classic, like the Mega 10K, and find out what all the clubs' races are, so we can get people racing them. It's a bit of a different kettle for what's it called, triathlon, because it's a lot harder to do a couple of triathlons a year than it is to do a lot of races a year. And Ironman is on a massive pedestal compared to anything Run for Wales is doing at the moment anyway. But if you're just coming into that sport, how many people their first run is Cardiff half? Loads.
Just loads, innit? It's loads of people.
At least the half marathon, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And that's the same as going to be... Tenby will have less first-timers now, because people are going to be doing Swansea 70.3 in the area as well. But it's the same kettle of fish, isn't it?
Mallorca, when I did it, I remember Paul Kay on the mic saying 40% of people here doing Mallorca 70.3. It's their first 70.3 event.
Yeah.
This is Spanish island. You've got to get there.
Yeah.
You've got to get a plane to get there. You've got to think everyone who's booked a hotel there.
Yeah. Why didn't they do the fucking Steelman, innit?
They're pumping revenue into that area, and the council, as long as you can show them that, you're making that, they have a justification to go back to the people who are complaining. You look at let's take a different event. Let's take Richard Burton 10K. I've just joined the committee there and stuff as well to try and support them quite a lot. And obviously I do a lot. I've done the front bike for that for a couple of years. The way that they get around the sort of shutting down the village as such for that is all that money goes back into the community.
Yeah.
that is the purpose of the event,
Yeah.
So then, they can't do a feasibility report like Ironman because actually the people who they're promoting it to is probably within South Wales and largely within Port Talbot and Port Talbot and Swansea. But what they bring then is that wealth of money into charities, into support groups, buying defibs or supporting the local RNLI and things like that. And that's how they do it. The way that Ironman they do it, right, and Run for Wales are just on huge, greater scales, which then they can say to Swansea Council, look, yes, we had to shut down the Gower, and all these people who live down the Gower are fuming, but for these 2,000, 3,000 people that are emailing you pissed off, we're bringing you all of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Shitload.
Really clever, know. I must admit, fair play to them for doing it. And it's not easy to put these events on.
No, definitely not. Well, we know that from events fucking up all year, don't we?
Yeah, and Jiffy's for us in work. Bike ride.
Yeah, because you organise all that, help with organising all that, the logistics of all that. Is second to none,
It's enormous. For 350 odd riders, the amount, the health and safety sheet, speaking to every council, because we go from Cardiff,
multiple.
That's 5 council areas. It's not closed roads, but you have to notify the council of what every arrow and sign you're putting up, and it's a lot of work. And I think people don't realise that Ironman costs a lot. And they say, they're making a lot of money. But I can tell you now, the amount of work that goes into that is enormous. So you've got to put it into scale. And yes, I could have a bitch about Ironman, and I have in the past, and I'll do the same for all the other events. But if they're doing it right and they can display that, fair play to them as well.
It doesn't get, like I said, we've said it, haven't we? It doesn't get... The buzz around an Ironman event is second to none. Being down on Heartbreak Hill in Tenby or down on the Mumble stretch for the 70.3. It's ridiculous. It's banging in there, and it's really if I hadn't gone into London this year, I was ticking closer and closer and closer to having a spin on Ironman 70.3. So thank God I got into London. But if we can help to grow the other events, you can have the same atmosphere everywhere, can't you? But it's just cold.
I think it's the time and effort, and I think it's the they have a much bigger team.
And they're being run by a lot of them are being run by clubs and not businesses as well, and that's the difference as well.
Yeah, that is a big difference. It's all free people to get up free of the time. The Ironman team, massive, but they're paid. They need to do it. So, but it is important, like you say, it's important we keep pushing these smaller races because that's where people start. That's where people fall in love with the sport. And they're the ones that we got to keep going as well.
Yeah. And it's in their best interest, Run for Wales, it should be in their best interest, same as Ironman stuff, is to support the smaller races. Yeah. And I think there will be a time where if that bubble does go bust, and some of the smaller events start to go and Ironman start to see a drop, I think
off.
I think they probably will have to go, hey, we need to support these clubs.
But almost with their tails between their legs, isn't it? And then, but then it's on the clubs and the smaller events. Say, where were you then? Where were you 3 years ago when you didn't need this kind of support? No.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's enough bashing. Manchester Marathon running, same day, boiling. You took a place really late and smashed it.
It was funny. I entered it. I remember entering it. I was in the bath in Christmas, over Christmas, and then just. Instagram and, would you like to run Manchester Marathon? Just drop your email in and tell us why. So I did the whole, done an Ironman, but I've never done a standalone marathon. And I'd like to share this with other people, not because I want to show how good I am, but I want to influence others. Oh, bloody influence word, but influence.
Yeah.
And yes, they I think they took 6 of us, I think. I got
very similar to what Nicky had with Puma in London, on a little bit of a smaller scale.
Yeah, and same as thingy and going to Berlin. So his was a lot more cameras on. Mine, we didn't have any cameras. It was more like here's your kit and have a go kind of thing. But we got told 6 weeks before. I think the Adidas kit came around 4 weeks before, 3 weeks before. and I was, Alpha Flyers. So going from Alpha Flyers to
change.
Addy Zeros was a bit of a, I wouldn't say a shock, but like, yeah, it was a bit like, oh, okay, I need to change the way I run a little bit.
Yeah.
That took a little bit of time. I think I ran 130k 2 weeks before, and just thought, well, I can't really do anymore now.
No.
What was your running
Humble
fitness
the
like at that point, though, Lou? Had you been like, because you said, like you just said, you just run for a laugh without doing you a disservice, obviously. But you just said openly, obviously, that if you're running 8Ks, if you're running 6Ks, if you're running 4.5, you're just running. Like, where was you running? Did you have like? Because they didn't get in touch with you straight away, right?
No.
What was you? No, when you got that email, do you think, oh shit, or was you in a bit of a condition anyway? Like,
A bit of both. Like this year for me, I haven't done racing to be competitive. I picked only 4 or 5 events. Manchester will not being one of them. On a training, if you take where I was September last year doing age group level, I was probably 60% less fit. So like really on the lower scale of fitness, and that's because commitments. Like obviously renovating the house, started.
Fucking life sucks. Like, so, you've got to do stuff.
Yeah, and work was busy. So like, I was in a moderate shape. I could still do 10k in like 45 minutes reasonably comfortable, kind of thing. But if I tried to push I could probably do a 20-minute 5k just under thresholds. Like I was still in a good shape, and that comes 3 or 4 years of training.
Yeah, of course it does.
Wrong.
Yeah, it's muscle memory a bit, isn't it? Like,
yeah, but I had to dig deep in Manchester. Don't get me wrong; like it wasn't easy. I wanted that. I wanted the sub 3. I knew it was ambitious anyway. Like because I think my training peak was estimating like 310 to 315, and like it's a bit like time trial and things. When it's a hot day, you're going to run through the air quicker. I know it sounds funny to a lot of people, but that's the way it is. You can put the same output on a bike. If it's 15 to 20 degrees warmer, you will skim through the air quicker, so you'll hold a better average pace. But the heat was unbearable that day. After we started, I remember just being sweating. So, and that was again like thankfully like Arwell helped me out a little bit. I was asking him around like how did he carry nutrition. So like even I was asking people questions. Same as when I went back in the day. Starting triathlon, I was still asking questions. I still ask questions today. How did you do that? I don't see myself as knowing everything.
No.
So yeah, I had a lot of help of people.
And I did, but I didn't listen. I've been talking to marathon seasoned pros, flying machines, but I didn't listen to a word any of them said.
And like I said, I went off hard, probably a little bit quicker. I was probably a minute in front of the 3-hour pacer. But I remember seeing the 3-hour pacer on like one of the turns back, and it just looked like a wall of runners, and I just didn't want to be in that. I just like. I was just like, I'm going to trip over someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole experience was great with ProDirect. They put up food. We had a full like 4-course meal with like, they were like nutritious cocktails like never had before. It was like they actually had like recovery stuff in them, which is quite interesting.
Broccoli, was there no meal?
Killer broccoli. Yeah. The course was amazing. Like I said, first time doing. Standalone marathon, so I just went for it, and just to come shy of, I think it was like just under 304.
Yeah,
really
303 something, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's some effort. Like
the masseuse must have still been there, then, were they?
What's that?
The masseuse must have still been open, then, were they?
It was, but I had the same problem as you. It's like you have to wear a cancer research vest or something. And I was like, all right, cheers, kind of thing. I'll take my coconut milk and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I think you probably found as well. I couldn't believe how it wasn't uphill, but like looking like the last 6K, it was all gradually uphill.
Yeah,
I didn't really.
I fucked it in. I coasted for like, I was feeling so good for like maybe 8-9 miles, and then the wheels just fell off, and they just went flying down the road. But I don't know what I was expecting or either. Like you've probably done a bit more research. Every turn was new to me. I'd never seen it in my life. Like
I I Google Maps the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, like
I Google
but
Maps what kebab shop was near the night before. Like.
to be fair, like I do it for all the races. If I can't get there to practice, I'll GPX the route onto Google or onto a software I got, and I will just look at the map and follow it. So I'll know points of where I am, points of reference.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good tip, that.
Yeah, it's just same as Mallorca, like, because I know I'm going to do that descent as hard as I can, and I'm not going to try and touch the brakes and things. I want to know what every single turn looks like. And
I just pictured it like Cool Runnings when he sat in the kayak with the steering wheel. Like.
Kayak. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. No, in his bobsleigh, anyhow, Cool Runnings, yeah. Oh, but, kayaking down Mumbles.
No, but like, that's the extent that I feel like I want to go to prep myself, and that's not just because I want to do well, but that's just what I want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's different, but I think I had the same thoughts around you. You know, that every single turn and straight had someone cheering for you. Like the only time I've ever felt the only other time I felt that was when I went to watch my mum do London Marathon. She's done it 3 times. Well, once in COVID, doing the COVID one, and then twice actually in London. So lucky.
It was well supported. Yeah, I think so.
So like,
I didn't want to use the support at that point. They're like, go on, guy. Like, why don't you just fuck off? Like, leave me alone.
Yeah. The only other time I felt that is Ironman Wales, and you got to remember that's a 4 10K loop.
Yeah. So that's easier to support.
Yeah, it's really good. But like I said, shame it was on London weekend because the event expo is non-existent.
It was shit, wasn't it?
It was poor. I think they really need to bump that up. Yeah,
they do, because they advertise themselves as like the biggest apart from London, the best one.
Yeah, and they got Adidas plastered all over it.
Yeah.
But it was crap. Like I was so like, and my brother was like pumped to go and try the legs on, like, you know what they called stuff. And
boots,
and I said, yeah, they'll probably be there, innit? Because I'm just comparing to what London Marathon has got, what I've seen like people do in the past. And you go there, and it was like a little hut, wasn't it? And you could queue up. Look, I said, what's that queue for, though? And it was like for the till. People were just buying. So you just want to. This is shit. So it was quite crap.
Choice of a vest, t-shirt, or jacket.
But you'd have to buy it.
I bought a vest, in fact. Like, but like there was, you know, I would have expected.
You didn't know there was a marathon going on tomorrow, did you? Like,
no, and I was surprised we didn't go through Manchester, like, at all.
I said that, didn't I? It might as well be the Altrincham Marathon.
Yeah, so, you know, like we just Manchester Uni tagged on to the end.
Yeah,
you know?
But it was all, and I'm glad I done it, and more glad now because I'm in London that I've learned all them lessons the hard way, and I fucked up in Manchester, so London should be better. But,
it's a good step.
Yeah.
As long as you listen this time, Gar. You need to listen to people.
I got to now, haven't I?
You have.
Got too much.
And you got money on your back now, so you have to.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. Exactly. Because you've done a lot of fundraising as well. And that's like we spoke earlier about the Jiffy bike ride before we move on to questions and stuff like that and take a quick break. But obviously you're massively involved in the Jiffy ride now as well. I worked with Jiffy a bit. He's worked with Jiffy, obviously. He was I worked for ACT Training in Cardiff, and he was the apprenticeship ambassador. And to be fair, you see him on TV, but he's like he is on TV, and he's a normal bloke. He's a good laugh.
He works hard, like.
Yeah, he's with Consumer Energy Supplies now, isn't he?
Yeah, he does more than that.
Yeah,
like Andrew Scott, you know, he is president of Linda and stuff as well. But for people to have reference listening on the pod, then I'm the charity manager at Swansea Bay Health Charity. So I work for the official Swansea Bay University Health Board charity. So we look after all the funds across the health board, which is around £6 or £7 million across multiple different funds and wards and departments. So say when people say to me, you know, I'm going to retire, or maybe just before I retire, I'm going to get a job in charity work. Don't, because it's probably harder than it's ever.
It's a harder job than a job.
It's a hard job at the moment because obviously cost of living and prices going up and things, and there's a lot more support groups, food banks and everything. So like, yeah, we're a team of three. We do a lot. We raised 1.2 million between three of us last year, which is
Fair play.
quite
That's
incredible.
yeah.
But yeah, we specialised into looking at things across the health book which they want support or extra income on. So and we supply that charitable money on anything over and above NHS core funding. So we couldn't buy more beds, for example. But what we can buy is more better chemotherapy chairs. People going through chemo, not having a basic chair, but they can have a better chair that reclines or has a built-in iPad holder and all these things. So like enhanced care basically is the way I see it. But yeah, like we don't do many events, and we spoke about this before, Gar, but like the cost of a charity getting places for events is absolutely ludicrous at the moment for some of them. And I'm not going to name names and things like that, but like if you want 30 places, you're looking at 5 figures, maybe close, to even more if it's a big one. So like, we work with Principality Building Society. They give us places for free because we do a lot of work with them. But like all of our events, we try and do ourselves. So like we did a women's Touched by Cancer rugby tournament, so tag rugby tournament. That raised 25,000 this year. And again, we did it all ourselves, reduced the cost massively. Where I think if we paid an organisation to do it, we probably would have only seen about 5% of that income. And then probably the second one, then like you said, is Jiffy's Bike Ride, and that's been going for 5 years now. It's an exceptional event. It's full of emotion. People go on that ride who have survived cancer. There's people riding that bike ride in memory of people. There's people actually going through cancer who do the ride.
Yeah, definitely.
We had 330 people last year, 330 this year.
That's close.
We've opened up the entries early this year. We've got nearly 100 people signed up already, which is 1/3 of what we already had, which is great. But yeah, it's just basically it's split then between Velindre Fundraising team and Swansea Bay Health Charity, and we give it towards our Singleton Cancer Centre then, which treats Swansea and West Wales. But the organisation and the logistics for that didn't start straight after the event this year. We started that 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, we signed the contract with the councils that we would have it for the next 3 years, I think, or 2 years. But that conversation started 2 years ago. Where do we want to be in 5 years' time? If you look at Car 10, for example, they've been going on for 20 plus years. They have 3,000 riders. The 10B, that doesn't come overnight, and you can't do the same thing every year. And you've got costs are rising. How do we keep it so that we maximise the charity part of it and not around the cost of people fundraising goes back into the ride? And luckily we've done that really well this year. We've raised another 50k this year to be split then between the two charities, which is really good considering the current climate. But we had a lot of first timers do it this year, which was really surprising. Ron the Tribe brought a big group down. Celtic Tribe brought a big group as well. A lot of them had never ridden 50 miles, and luckily they had a westerly tailwind this time, not back their face. So
I think you've got now, these people that started triathlon after COVID, for example, right? And then now they're moving into their next era. So they've competed, they've learned to ride bikes and stuff, and now they're looking at more these kind of social, because they love the bike riding as well, because they're fucking savages. And they are looking at more of the social stuff and like that, and you're only going to benefit from that as well, where they're looking to do these social longer rides as well, rather than competing as much now, because they've had that taste. They've slayed the dragon.
For one brand, yeah.
Fuck, I sign me up, man.
Yeah, paid advertising now.
But no, definitely
it's about being unique. There's no point us doing a charity bike ride from Cardiff to Tenby. There's not.
No, because it exists.
It exists. Yeah, there's no point us putting a 5k on because Neath Run for All do it fantastically, and Try Hard and Paul Popham have got
Swansea. They're everywhere. Yeah.
Park Run is free, so it's difficult to get people to do that. But things with a purpose will always do well, and as long as you tell people where the money is going and how it's being spent, it'll always do well. For Velindre do it they change theirs up every year. But for us, we put it into a fund called the CRAD Fund, and basically we employ someone to look at either. So last 3 years we've employed someone to look at multiple things. So what levels of chemotherapy people need if they're a young person compared to an older person, and how does that actually benefit their life. We've looked at different types of radiotherapy needed. People who have tattoos, how do they have radiotherapy? So like we've spent a lot of money into that, and that's actually not just helped people in Swansea, but that's helped people across the world. Like our research that we do, and a lot of it is with Swansea University as well, is actually world first, or world leading research thanks to the Jiffy Ride. And we communicate that quite well, and people always come back because they know it makes a difference to not just people now, but it's make a difference for people in 10 years' time, because something that was 2 years ago. And it's a really cool thing to be a part of. And like I said, fundraising is hard, but it's a worthwhile thing to do. It makes a huge difference. I go home at the end of the day, and I either raise 10 grand or someone's given us 10 grand donation. I'm not coming home like my fiance, who works in pediatrics children's department, and has had a real rough day with a child. Happened to a child. I don't have that, and I think that's where I feel lucky. Like I'm making a difference without being on the front line. I think I think that's what spurs us on a little bit. It's not for us again; it's for the people who are having treatment, or for our staff to help them have a better quality of work-life balance and being in work. So there's a lot of things. It's just hard. I must admit.
I couldn't have doing it every day. And that's why I said from the start I only applied for Diabetes UK, because look, I ran Cardiff for NSPCC last year because it was easy to get in, but I struggled to raise 300 quid for that because it was not relatable and stuff. And look, you'll see, go on Instagram now for this week and next week, and you'll see the panic fundraisers for Cardiff Half popping up as well for the same old charities, and you'll have a look at their fundraiser and it's on zero, and it's like, well, if you cared about that charity that much, you would have been fundraising for the last 6 months since you got in as well. You're shitting the bed a little bit here now, and that's fine, but you've got to raise that money. And that's why I had to do Diabetes UK, because it's relatable. And again, like you said, with it being different and stuff like that, that's why we spoke about lots of different ways to fundraise, didn't we, Nick? And then we landed on the bleep test, because it's that old school bastard of a thing. But there's no one else is doing a bleep test at the moment. So it's something that's a bit different from organising a trail run or a 5K or whatever. But it's not easy, and you've got to make it a little bit different, but you've got to have some skin in the game as well, haven't you?
It all comes back to having a purpose, and telling people your story. And I think if you don't do that and just say, I'm running Cardiff Half, people are going to go, but I've already given it to a guy who's going through cancer, or I've given it to a guy who has just had life-saving treatment, or his child has been saved by Noah's Ark, or something like that. If you just say I'm doing it because I've done it 6 times, but I want to do it, it doesn't have the scope. And, and I think that's what it comes back to. You have that purpose, you have the belief, and you've started early. A lot, like you said, even London Marathon now, they expect you to have 50% of your fundraising done.
Yeah, they'll be checking in with me in December now. And then I guess if I didn't have any money, they'd pull a plug in.
Yeah, because I don't know how many, Diabetes UK, quite big. They probably got 50 to 100 spaces minimum, right? They probably paid, again, five figures, if you raise 3 grand, they may only be seeing 20% of that back.
Actually, the cost. Mad, isn't it?
It's not fair, is it either?
No, it's not.
It's difficult, and I think I know why they do it. Because it is giving back, but it's up to the charities then to scrutinise it. Like I speak to Maggie's in Swansea quite a lot, and they do an interview process now. Like it's not just we have 50 spaces. Do you want one?
They should absolutely.
Yeah, they should. You're right.
And we do the same thing. If somebody wants to raise money, we won't go into depth, but we'll ask them. Do you have a story? Do you have something that makes you want? and that makes a huge difference. But it makes it easier on the charities as well. So
That's what I had to do. Like, obviously, you have to send a statement, really, I guess, or a story of why you want to do it, and then that's how. Again, it'll boil down to how good you are at telling the story as well in that first instance, won't it?
And again, that doesn't come back to take. They're not going to pick the fastest people. They're not going to pick the people who, same as people doing Ironman Wales and things. Your time is irrelevant. It's the story and the passion, the things behind it. Like I don't do like. Although I work for Swansea Hard charity and I do Jiffies, and I'll say, I'm doing Jiffy Ride, but like I don't fundraise because I know it's part of my daily routine and it's part of my job.
Yeah.
But what I'll do is I'll create the stories. Like I said, I'll come back to YouTube and influence people that way. And if someone goes, you know what, I don't do Ironman Wales, but actually I'll do it for this charity.
Yeah.
Well, I've made my difference, and it's up to them then to take that on. So like it all swings and roundabouts. I think it's just it's gonna be harder for charities, and I think it's about time they started doing the scrutiny and picking people for a purpose and not just going, great, we've got 50, we need to get rid of them kind of thing. I'd rather Cardiff Half now. I'd rather take 15 real good people than just fill the spots, and I think a lot of people are doing the same now.
Yeah, absolutely. Lewis, it's been an absolute blast. I hope we covered. That's like the longest episode we've done in ages. I cut all the mountain biking out. No, I'm only joking. But thanks for giving us some time. We'll take a quick break now, and then obviously we've got our normal questions, and then we will get you back to your patient fiancé. Welcome back. Right, Nick, time to shine. Favourites, not this or that. Favourites.
Not this or that. God keeps forgetting, even though we're about a year into these favourites. Right, first, Lou, favourite discipline?
Enduro mountain biking. That's a discipline.
That is a discipline, yeah. You've named a few of those disciplines in mountain bike that I'd never heard of.
Same.
So I was interested to know. Favourite distance?
Ooh, probably 70.3.
Yeah, you said you've done a few of them, haven't you? I didn't realise you'd only done one full.
Yeah, I know.
That's new. I'm going to have to ask you, favourite trainer? Shoe, you know what I mean?
I like the new Evo SLs at the moment, Adidas ones.
I've got them, and they're amazing, eh? I'm loving them myself.
And no carbon.
I'm liking
them myself. You will, but they are
I can't
really good,
because I'm just going to stick to Invincibles and Pro Rebellions. But I might have to get that new 100k one. Jesus Christ! Oh,
you've got them on now.
Craig Jones is an advocate for them at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, he got them the same time as me. We're messaging each other around them.
No, they are a great tune, fairness. Favourite athlete?
You would love this. I'm not going to... If I said Mark Barrow, he would never let it down, but I can't say that. Favourite athlete? It's probably just because of how down-to-earth it is. I would probably say Harry Palmer. And that's not just a jump on the bandwagon, but I've been following him for the last 4 or 5 years, and he's moved up from age group into pro, and I think that level of balance is amazing, and he's just getting to that point now where he is becoming something which is really cool to see.
Yeah, he's starting to get places now, and I've watched him for a while as well. I've come across him, obviously running and come across his stuff, but I watch him, and he does some good stuff, and like I say, he's getting to the point at the end now as well. Favourite race?
Favourite race? Ooh. Only for the after party, I have to say Mallorca. The DJ set till 1 o'clock was banging.
Yeah, I must have missed that when I was there. Yeah. It was all the way in the boys.
More DJ sets at the end of races, definitely.
Yeah. And I know you've already said you've done your bucket list race with Wales, but what's your now bucket list race?
I need to go back and finish that Snowdonia Ultra Marathon. Getting 50k, through, and then getting it cancelled with a couple of k to go is pretty brutal. So
yeah, that's savage.
We go back.
Could have done it faster. No, I'm only joking. That's it, Nick.
Yeah.
All right, Lou. What song are you going to add to the playlist?
I'm a singer. So this is hard.
You
isn't
are a singer. We forgot. Well, that's another podcast.
Yeah.
Because you've done our buddy Emily Martin's
back.
wedding, didn't you?
Yeah,
Redfest.
that was a pretty wild. I don't think she remembers any of it, to be fair.
No.
So,
Probably not.
which I'm not surprised.
Yeah, but you can tell. It can be your favorite song to sing. Anything can go on, eh?
Yeah, it's got a beat belt, Jerry Cinnamon.
Yeah,
Nice.
not bad
But the
song.
live version from Hampton Park,
Yeah.
it is on Spotify.
Oh, there we are, Carl. That's your job. Find that one.
That was quite lower. It's one of Carter's favourite because this was the first time he found out he could swear during singing. Like, and who's going to play Lewis Bradley in a movie of his life? Can't pick yourself even if you're a YouTuber.
Ooh, I think last favorite, actor. Who would play me? I thought you meant favorite actors. I was going to say Tommy Shelby, but I'm going to say Will Ferrell because I'm sure I got funny parts in my life, which he would play quite well.
Fantastic.
Good choice.
Thank you so much again for your time, Lou. It's been an absolute blast, and I'm sure our paths will cross. Are you down, Temby?
I will be down Tenby. Yeah, I don't know what time. I may go straight down on the bike course and watch down Pembroke and then drive back for it. So
if we don't
Yeah,
do down
looking forward to
Temby,
it.
we'll definitely see you out on the lead bike in Richard Burton this year again.
Yep, I'll definitely be there. We've got some big plans with the committee because obviously it's we're celebrating.
Yeah.
I think it's should know 100 years, but yeah, there's a significant presence there this year.
I've told
we're
Sean
gonna
if he needs anything to give us a shout, but he's not the most engaging man. But if you do need anything, Lou, feel free to give us a shout. Like I said, we love Richard Burton. It's just over the other side of the mountain from us, and it's the best race, definitely the best road race on the cards in Wales.
Yeah, it'd be better if Derry slowed down so I could have a bit more company.
He's going faster now, but he's got fucking Pumas.
Yeah, I know.
I know. I think we may have to get some people down there because by the time we turn left and go past the co-op, it's mostly just me and him.
I know, he must kill you on our bike.
Yeah,
solo.
He's smiling at me, and I'm telling and to be fair, I know we're going to wrap it up. I've never seen someone run up a hill so fast in my life. It literally pushes me on a bike. It's pretty fantastic to see.
Phenomenal.
He's wild, man.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
great.
him.
And we'll see you there then.
Absolutely.
Well.
Nick, do you want to wrap it up? Because I've had to wrap it up the last couple because your Wi-Fi's been shut.
Because my Wi-Fi's gone shit. We seem to be all right, fingers crossed. Lewis, that was brilliant. You're doing some amazing work outside of the sport as well with those charities. Love that. Great stories and keep doing that. But that's it from us. We are down at the Home Nation Saturday, so we will see you on the start line there. Lucy, we need to grab you. Jack, there's some former guests there, so we'll be grabbing them hopefully. Watching them speedies go around that, and everyone else is racing there. All the best. We'll see you Saturday.
Thank you very much.